I don't fucking know what I'm doing half the time. It's kind of the fun of it, though. Like, I enjoy doing this. I enjoy not knowing exactly what my project is.
Yes, yeah.
Because I feel like if I knew exactly what it was, that would take maybe the fun out of it. Mm-hmm. Is that like can you relate?
Yeah, I would say so. I feel like when I'm playing shows too, I try to not play the same set every night, and like do different transitions and kind of change it up so it doesn't end up being the same every time.
Yeah. And your band is, you met them at Berkeley College. You studied at Berkeley.
Yes.
So you are proficient at your instruments.
Yeah, some would say so. Yeah.
That's good. I mean, I guess that's like a whole conversation in itself, like learning to love an instrument and like learning to play it your own way, whilst also in a way that's sort of been taught and has been written down in paper and in a way that is like, this is how you do it. There's tension in that.
Yeah, I guess so. I feel like definitely studied a lot, like going to music school and stuff, you end up learning the way that maybe a lot of other people learn, but then within that there's like so many different paths. So like technique wise and everything too.
Did you have those days where you're like, I just want to write something that feels good and is not technically the way I'm supposed to do it?
I guess so, yeah. I think I kind of go back and forth between, I always try to challenge myself in my writing for the most part. So like sometimes I'll write songs that are intentionally really hard for me to play. Yeah. And then I'll like eventually get better at playing them to the point where it's not hard anymore. And other times, on this new album that's coming out in May, there's a few songs that are just like actually extremely easy to play. And that's kind of like the other side of it, like going back and forth between something really more simple and straightforward versus something really complicated. Yeah.
Well, the opening track to the record, Dumb Feeling, is pretty shredding.
Yes. It's funny because I feel like on the scale of like difficult to not difficult, that one is like towards the not difficult side.
You joking?
Yeah. Yeah.
Animura, is that how you pronounce it?
Animaru. Yes, yeah.
Excuse me. And it means animal.
Yes, yeah.
And I read you talking about how you just prioritize music. And 101 Part-Time Jobs, that's the name of this show. And I suppose that's what it is about. It's about people saying, I care more about making music than I do about the things that I'm taught or told that I should care about more. I mean, you're 24, so you're young. I imagine, I'm not expecting you to like have an amazing like perspective of your life because you're so in the middle of it.
Right, yeah.
But how do you ruminate around that stuff? Because to get to where you are right now, that's required a lot of work. For sure.
Yeah, I feel like when I first moved to New York, I started working at a preschool, and I worked there full-time for 1 year and then part-time for another year. And then now I'm able to do music full-time, which is really amazing. But I don't know, in my opinion, I feel like it's, being an artist, getting a part-time job is like a very normal thing to do, and I hope that people aren't discouraged by it. I mean, I certainly was discouraged for a little bit. I was like, I worked at, the preschool I was working at. It was great. I didn't dislike the job. Like, I love children, and it was really fun, but like, it wasn't exactly what I wanted to do with my whole life for the rest of my life. I'm very happy to be just doing music, because that is like my life's passion and like my life's love. So yeah.
Brooklyn's expensive.
It is. It's expensive, but I feel like people think it's more expensive than it actually is. Like if you find a good spot, and you're not eating out all the time, and
I feel the same way about London. Mm-hmm. You can find your spaces where you find the cheap thing to eat on a regular basis, or you just find a way to not spend money every time you leave the house.
Yes. Yeah. A lot of walking around and groceries and stuff like that, but so
it's your first record. There's like a lot of work that's gone into this. You've been building towards this time. How far ahead are you able to look? How are you able to kind of stay sane within that kind of structure?
Right. I mean, I feel like it's nice in a way because there's always something to look forward to, because like I'm on this tour right now, first Europe and UK tour. And then when I get back, I have a little break, and then we're doing our first US headline tour. Yeah. And then going to Japan after that, and then maybe coming back here. But it's kind of planned out, I guess, like through half of the year, about like through July, August-ish.
So you know exactly where you'll be.
Yes.
You don't know how you're going to be feeling.
No, I guess I don't know how I'm going to be feeling, but based on how I'm feeling now, I think I'll probably still be feeling good, I hope. Yeah.
You know, I just heard of you at the start of this year. A lot of people still haven't heard of you yet. It makes me think how a record can be so grasping, and it captured me immediately, like dumb feeling, like the singles from this album that were immediately like, yes, this is awesome. Like, this is amazing. It's like mathy, it's hooky. There's Japanese language in there. So I feel like I'm learning something. And it makes you think how much amazing music out there doesn't get heard. That's
true. I feel like most of the music I listen to is, not like popular music, so I definitely relate to that sentiment. Yeah.
What are you listening to? Like jazz and Thelonious Monk? You said you were a fan of.
Yeah. I listen to a lot of jazz. A lot of I guess recently I've been listening to like Michael Brecker more and Wayne Shorter. Also, you know, always love Coltrane. Yeah.
Yeah. When you go home, do you feel like you have like a steady mind of like getting to work, like writing the songs compared to being away touring?
It's always a balance between like being an artist in this day and age involves so much other than making art, you know, and making music. Like there's like social media and like answering your emails and doing a lot of other stuff that's not necessarily directly related to music. So for me, it's always trying to find a balance between the two of like, you know, I want to push my project forward as much as I can in terms of like the business sense, but I also need to make sure I'm like playing every day and practicing every day, because that's like the whole point of it, you know.
It seems like a different world now in music to even 15 years ago, where I feel like now you kind of have to be like an entrepreneur in it and like have an idea about the business and kind of understand it.
For sure. I feel like I see so many people that I'm like, you're an amazing musician and you have so much talent, but like you do not know how to like present yourself or like promote yourself, you know. And that's so hard. Like I feel like that's not something that you can really be taught. It's just like you gotta try and see what works and like what feels natural to you, you know. But it takes a while to get to that point.
Is that what you did? You'd like tried out different things and you're like, who am I? Like, what is my voice when I'm speaking to audiences? Like, what's my online voice?
Yeah, I feel like for me it was pretty relatively straightforward. I was like, all right, I'm just gonna take a video of myself playing the guitar, which is like what I was doing already anyways, but now I'm just taking a video, so it doesn't feel like that much extra work, I guess, in that sense. You must have had a lot of people reach out to you who are women or, you know, are from different parts of the world, who are like, you've inspired me to play guitar, you've inspired me to learn a pentagonic scale. Can't even say it. Yeah, I definitely get that sometimes, which I think is really sweet, but I'm like, also you should look for other inspirations, because I'm like here in comparison to like you know what I mean, like the people that I look up to, I feel like are miles and miles ahead of me. So it's interesting when people tell me they look up to me, because I'm like, no, you don't even know, like there's like so much more to it than you realize. That's like the best answer. You know, if I was like, oh, look up to you, I really love your music, and I'm learning to play whatever instrument, if that person was to say, oh, check out this person, this person, this person, I'd be like, that's the best thing. That's the best thing you can hear. Yeah. It's hard to make a living being an artist now. Is that something you've reconciled with? It'd be like, okay, I'm going to be a little bit skint for the next couple of years, but it's going to be worth the value later on. Where are you in that, in your story? I would say, I mean, like generally I'm not too concerned about like being rich or anything, you know. Like I'm happy to just be able to make music and not have to have another job. Like that's really all I could ask for. So I don't mind if I can't like do anything super luxurious. I mean, at the end of the day, being able to travel and do this is luxurious in its own way. Even if I'm like, you know, sleeping on couches and like whatever, I'm still like able to see the world, which is really a beautiful thing. But and like alongside your solo stuff, there's going to be work. There's going to be work for players. Like, is that like an exciting prospect? I mean, playing or, you know, guesting on other people's records. Yeah, definitely. I feel like right now my focus has mostly been on my own music, but I'm looking forward to playing more guitar for sure. Like, I feel like right now I'm really focused on songwriting and stuff, but I would imagine in a little bit I'll probably come back to being more of a guitarist, and
Yeah.
I would like to eventually release, like, just instrumental music as well, just like playing guitar, like trio or something.
Yeah, you can do that now.
Yeah.
I'm looking for a sleep playlist.
Yeah, I feel like I'm not quite ready to release a standards album or anything like that. Maybe when I'm like 50 though.
Yeah, well, it's good to have those in mind.
Yes, yeah.
Have you got any collaborations like coming up, or ones that you've done that are waiting to be released?
Yeah, a couple. I don't know if I'm like supposed to say them though, because they haven't been announced yet. But
that's what we would call a scoop.
Yeah.
On the show.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're not allowed to announce them.
And yeah, I probably shouldn't, just because like they haven't been announced yet. Yeah.
Great. Well, good to chat, Mei. Thanks so much. I mean, 101 part-time jobs. You mentioned like working in schools, working with kids. Have you had a couple of those days that you think like, fuck, I just want this day to end? You've made a mistake. You fucked up at work.
For sure. I mean, this is kind of like a silly one, but working in a preschool with the class is like 2 to 3 year olds, so sometimes there's days where you're just changing diapers over and over again, and then you're like, I don't want to do this anymore. I've definitely had days like that. It's funny because I never thought I would be I didn't know that I liked kids until I started working at the preschool, and I was like, oh, this is actually really sweet. I quite enjoy this, but never thought I would be changing diapers. Yeah.
There was a great Brian Eno interview that came out the other day that I enjoyed watching, and he said something along the lines of, as a kid, all your life is about learning things. A kid learns things. And playtime. You're playing and you're learning. And at some point, that stops as an adult, which is really sad.
Yeah.
So I feel like it requires some extra kind of work and effort to be like, no, I'm going to reject that notion that, past the age of 18 or 21, I'm an adult and I'm just not allowed to learn or play anymore. Whereas so many of the things that I find so much joy in, music, sport, hanging around with my friends, like learning and reading books, that novel was written by someone who was ultimately playing and learning. I'm just really aware that, it's stamped out of you as an adult to learn and play.
Yeah. No, I feel that. I feel like it's really important to stay connected with that, like innocence,
Yeah.
And like joy, like pure joy. I feel like I've definitely come back to that over the past couple of years. Just, I think that's what I love about music, is it makes me so happy. So.
Yeah, and stay green. I guess as a guitar player, like you said, the levels are so high of how, how proficient, how gifted players are. Mm-hmm. And to even beyond that kind of path, I imagine is super humbling. And so it makes sense to be green and be like, okay, what's that? Could you teach me that? Yeah,
definitely. It's really like a lifelong thing, like I'm going to be, I don't know how long I'll live, but like I'll be 80 years old. I'm still trying to like transcribe stuff,
Explain to me what transcribing is.
I guess it's just like learning something. For me, I learn it by ear. And some people like write it down, but I'm not very good at that, so will learn it by ear and like memorize it and then play it. Like it could be a solo or a chord progression or some voicing, like whatever. Yeah, whatever it is.
And this is like a song that you found, could be on YouTube, could be on the radio.
Yeah, it could be anything. I guess usually it's like some solo or something that I have liked for a while, and then I'm like, okay, I'm gonna learn how to play it.
Yeah. Hell yeah. What was the last one, or what was like a memorable recent one that you did that for?
Honestly, I haven't had too much time to like really practice in that way recently. I tried to start transcribing Michael Brecker's solo on Cabin Fever, which I don't know if you've heard that, but it's kind of just a ridiculous thing to do, so I like gave up, but maybe I'll pick that up again. I got like a little bit into it. It's just kind of hard, but yeah.
And just to end with, could you give us, and it was Michael Brecker?
Michael Brecker, yeah.
Michael Brecker. Could you give us 3 records that we should go and listen to? Could you educate us?
I guess, okay, I don't know if I could name like 3 because I'm kind of just coming into his music, but the one that I've been listening to a lot is like Tales of the Hudson. That's what it's called. Okay. Yeah. It's pretty sick.
What about other artists sort of in this kind of stage in your life that you're discovering? What are two other recent artists that you've discovered?
That I've discovered. I mean, I've known about him for a while, but Ari Hoenig I've been listening to more recently, and he has an album called Lines of Oppression that I really like. Yeah.
So we're going to go back and listen to this and be like, wow, this is wild.
It's pretty crazy. Yeah. Do you know John Roseboro?
No.
He's an artist based out of New York. He's a good friend. He makes like post-bossa indie music. He just put out an album pretty recently called Fools. That's really beautiful, yeah.
Sick. Thank you very much, Mei.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Cheers for watching. This is 101 Part-Time Jobs. You can find us on Apple, Spotify, and all podcast apps. We've done interviews with Aurora, Kneecap, Idols, Lauren Maybury of Churches, and loads more. So tap into 101 Part-Time Jobs on Spotify, Apple, and all podcast apps.